everyone. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. So instead of the typical playthroughs I normally go through, I am going to paint one of my new minis that I got with the Zombicide Season 3 Rue Morgue base set. So I think I'm going to paint Travis here. So he's one of the, I guess you'd call one of the hero characters. So down and dirty. This isn't really a tutorial or anything because I wouldn't consider myself a pro painter, but give you an idea of how to just do a quick paint, tabletop quality, I guess you could say, just something that looks a little bit, better than your base, bland, unpainted character. So as you can see, I've already gone ahead and primed all of my guys. So, like for example, here's Maddie. They normally come, it's like she comes yellow, but everybody's painted in just a black primer. You can use black, gray, white, whatever. I like my characters a little bit darker, so the black primer, I think. I've tried a couple different types of color primers, and I think black kind of works best for me. So it may not work best for everyone, but picked a bunch of colors that I'm going to go with. So I'm going to do his pants in a Cantor blue. All my paints are going to be Citadel paints in paint pots, just watered down. I've got a couple of washes here, and I'll just go through the colors as I use them. So what we're going to do, and all the brushes I use are typically, I use Citadel brushes too, I don't know. I mean, there's no real preference here. Just whatever works best for you. My brushes are kind of beat up, so again, I'm not a pro painter, but hopefully it'll come out pretty decent. They usually do, at least as far as, like I said, tabletop qualities aren't going to be tournament or anything crazy like that, because I'm certainly not that skilled. So I'm going to start with your basic base coat. I'm going to base his boots and jacket in a rhinox hide, so it's kind of like a brownish red. I'm going to water down the Cantor blue for his pants. He's got a little bit darker t-shirt underneath. I'm going to use Kislev flesh on his face, probably a real light gray on his beard. So I've got an Eshin gray, but I'm going to white it up, lighten it with some white scar. And then for anything black, I'm going to just use an Abaddon black, for probably his little mace type weapon here. Probably his quiver, his bow, I'll probably do in Eshin gray as well. And then I'll just do some highlights, maybe a little bit of dry brush at the end, and a whole lot of wash, and maybe he'll look pretty decent. So let's get to it. All right, so just got a little splash of this blue in here. I'm going to use a detail brush because I'm going to start with his t-shirt. So what I like to do is I like to start with the deepest section that I know I'm not going to be very neat on, and kind of bring it out from there. Now I've watered the paint down. I don't know, you could probably go 2 to 1. I think that's the standard. Like two parts paint, 1 part water, depending on what you're doing. But you can play with the water to paint ratio, as much as you want, till you find the best combination. So I'm just going to get in here and paint what I think is his t-shirt, and don't worry about being too precise, because basically you're going to work on the details later. You just want to get as much of the recesses covered with the right color. And again, you can be as sloppy as you really want to here, because like I'm getting blue all over this Uzi, but I know that I'm going to be painting that Uzi later, so as long as I get what's in the recesses done, I can always fix it. Now, these paints, they dry pretty quickly, so you don't really have to wait too long till they dry, and you can just keep putting more coats until you feel you've got good coverage. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the shirt. Okay, so, I mean, that's it right off the bat. So, I think what we'll do next is, we'll do his jeans. So, since I've already got the blue mixed, I'm just going to add, I'll try to get this in here so we can see, you can see sort of my paints. So I don't have to keep shifting the camera. Now I use a crappy brush to do my mixing. So I'm going to use some of this white scar and add it to the blue because I want to get him his blue jeans, and they look like they're pretty faded. He looks like an 80s guy, so they're probably stone washed or acid washed. So we want to get them nice and bright. And it doesn't have to be exact. And one thing that I tend to do when I paint my minis for a board game is I go as true to the picture, without being exact, as I can. I know a lot of people like to do alternate color schemes and give it their own little flair, but not me. I mean, I try to leverage the design that the actual game creators came up with and the original artists, so that the characters I'm playing with look like the designer hopefully meant them to look. So, just gonna go and get in here and start painting the jeans. Now everything's gonna look kind of very bland and plain at first, and that's fine, because you've got a lot of other steps to do before we finish up here. So again, for this base stuff, you don't have to be perfect. You just got to make sure you cover everything that needs to be covered with this color. Alright, that's done. Okay, so we've got the pants done. That was just a quick base coat of that light and blue. Got the shirt done. Now I'm going to do some Rhinox hide. And we're going to paint his jacket and his boots. So, let's see. This should be pretty quick going too. We're just going to do the jacket, like I said, and the boots. Again, we don't need to be too careful yet, because we're just trying to cover as much of the main area as we can. And I will fix everything that's a little hokey once I'm finished here. Get all that color back out again. It's just a pain. Try to do it quick. Alright, so pants, boots, jacket. He's coming along. Alright, so I think next we'll do skin. We'll do his flesh tone. Let this dry. Alright, so getting some of this Kislev flesh to do his head. Don't need too much. It's kind of a light skin color, not too light, but not all that dark either. So just need a little bit of water to water this down. Alright. This will take no time at all, because we're just doing his head. Oh god, that's way too watery. But I'm already committed, so might as well just finish. Yeah, I need more paint. That's too watery. Let's see where we are now. That's better. He's obviously got some Duck Dynasty beard going on here, so I'm going to go over that with gray later, but just want to get his head, neck, around his ears. Got earrings too, so I'll have to put some of those in. And then Joy, I get to do the eyes. The eyes are just, oof. That's make or break the mini. So maybe we'll get that out of the way early on. And the rest of the face should just pop. Alright. So he's got his face, his mouth down here, and we'll get more detail on that once we do his beard. But his beard looks like it's covering most of his neck area, so I don't have to worry about that. This is where, with the black primer, a lot of the light areas you really have to coat well, because this is where you see a lot of the black undercoat come through. Whereas on a white or a light gray primed mini, you won't have that. But you'll have sort of the opposite effect, where you've got to paint your dark areas a little bit more. So now I'm gonna wash him anyway, so that should darken it up as it is. But I just want to get at least most of his head covered, so it looks even. I'm not going to do his hands yet, because I'm going to do the gloves first, and then paint the fingers on over the gloves, and I think that should be easier. Alright, so already he's starting to look like a person. Alright, so I think next color, and we'll do the beard. That should be quick. Let that dry, we'll get the beard done. Alright, so for the beard, we're going to do this Eshin gray. It's a really dark gray, as you can see. But I'm going to dry brush the beard anyway. So this darker base should work just fine. And I'm just going to get in all the recesses again. On his neck, next to his jacket. Try not to get too much of this on his jacket collar, because I'm going to have to touch that up once I'm done. I can already see some spots that I need to go over again. But that's fine. Alright, so everything's dry. I think the next color we're going to do, this is probably one of the last before we can wash it, will be black. So this is just straight Abaddon black. Water down a little bit. And we're going to just jump in and start painting this club, his gloves. I'm going to come back later and do the flesh tone on the gloves for his fingers. That's fine. And then we'll do some highlights on this weapon here. And I don't know what this weapon's called. I probably would if I'd played the game before, but I've never played Zombicide before. So I will definitely do a run through of this once I've got the minis painted. Alright, so we want to do the gun. I got a whole lot of blue from his shirt on the gun, so this is where you have to get a steady hand here, because you don't want to have to redo that blue. Like I said, I hate going back and having to repaint a color that I had done already, but it happens. But I will try my damnedest not to have to do it again. Yep. Alright, so there's the bow. Alright, I think he is good enough at this stage. Alright, we are back and I think we're dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some Nuln oil wash and go over the entire model with the exception of the head, and I'm going to take it straight from the can and I'm just going to apply it liberally to the model. Just make sure I get every section. Nothing fancy about this part. Just load the brush and get it on there. Alright, and the reason I'm only doing the body and not the head is because the head, Nuln oil is like a black base, and I want to use something a little less dark on the skin tone, so I'm going to use like an Agrax Earth shade, which is like a brown base. Just looks better on skin tones than this. We're pretty much good here. Alright, that's it. Simple. Simple. Alright, so now I'm just going to let them dry. Before I do the face, I don't want that because that'll just run and blend into the other wash, so I'm going to give that a minute. Well, more than a minute to dry, so we'll be back. Alright, so Nuln oil's dry. We're going to do the Agrax Earth Shade. So the next wash, just for the head. Real quick and simple. Get it straight out of the pot. I'm going to go over his head again with highlights, so it's okay to have a little bit of pooling, not too much though. I want to get us in his eyes. He's got all sorts of weird bandages on his face too, so that's that. Just down and dirty. Alright, let them dry and then we'll start working on the highlights next, and almost done. Okay, now that I think we're all dried up, we are moving on to some dry brushing. So I've mixed up some of that Cantor blue and some of the white scar to make this sort of light blue mess. And I'm just going to take my dry brush, put it in a little bit of the paint, and then just wipe it off on a napkin. Probably seen a million of these videos before, so I'm not going to go through all the little steps, but basically dried off my brush, and now I'm just going to go over some of the high points on the pants, because these are acid wash jeans, because this guy's right out of the 80s, so we are going to just try to lighten up the fronts of his jeans where most of the wear and tear typically is on jeans, right? I'm just lightly going over it, hitting all the high points. So this will, I'm not pushing too hard because I don't want to get the paint into the recesses. So just enough to bring out some of the highlights in these pants. I don't want to get it on everything. Alright, I think we're solid. Alright, there's his jeans. Now they look pretty legit. Alright, so that's it for that. Next I'm going to mix up some paint. We're going to dry brush his leather jacket. Alright, so I've mixed up some of the original jacket color, which was the Rhinox hide, and I threw a tiny bit of white in there just to brighten it up. I didn't want it too bright because this is a dark jacket. So again, I'll wipe off the brush and we'll start dry brushing the jacket. Not too much because I only want a little bit of highlight on this one because it is a dark jacket. But it should give it some good highlights and a little bit of that leathery wear. Again, particularly around the sleeves and the collar. Not too much. I can go through in a bit and maybe do some highlights on it as well. I'm also going to do the boots because the boots are the same color as the jacket. So same process, just nice and light. All right. Alright, so moving on to the next color, we're going to do some of this Hessian gray again with the dry brush. Now what I'm going to do is work on the weapons. This is kind of a dark gray. So it's not going to really show a ton on the weapons. It's not yet, but I'm going to put another layer over the weapons with a much lighter gray after this. Maybe a little bit on the beard too. Alright, and I'm going to switch to a much brighter gray next. Be right back. Alright, next color is called Administratum Gray. It's a much lighter gray color. So this should kick it up a notch, I think. And I'm going to go and hit all the edges again with this, particularly on this bow. And where the light would hit this club. Not too much, just enough. Real light over this MP5. Almost as if it's picking up some reflections. Again on the beard. Give him a good amount because he looks like he's pretty ashen. Alright. That looks good. Things are popping. Those gloves. I still have yet to do his fingers. Alright. And we're moving on to the next one. Let this dry. Alright, so now I'm gonna change to this Steel Legion Drab. It's kind of a lighter brown. It makes for a good lighter leather color. And what I'm gonna work on now is some detail. And I'm gonna hit all of these little belts and straps that are coming off of him. Got this watered down pretty good so that it doesn't pop too much. I'm also going to use it to color this bag that we had under him, because it was the same color as his leather jacket, but we don't want that. So I'm just trying to get all the areas that I can get to on this pouch. And then I think I'm going to hit it with a little bit of wash when I'm done, just to kind of take the brightness off it. 'Cause right now it's extremely bright. Alright, so there's some straps. This little pouch. See if we have anything over here. So he's got some little belts coming over here too, so looks like this one down here is also part of it. I'm going to hit this one as well. So he's got another little pouch over here. And these straps that go kind of behind there, a little bit underneath, and that should be good. I could do now. So there's one more strap going across his back, but I think I'm going to make that one black, because that one is what's holding his gun together. Now he's got, and I'll put some black straps on his boots as well. So that should be good for his pouches. Let me just touch this one up a little bit more. It's missing a little bit of color. Okay, I think we're good. Alright, so that's that. So you see it's a little bit more time consuming, but we'll get there. Let that dry. Alright, so I'm actually going to touch up real quick. Just giving it a look, and I think I'm going to do some light gray while I still have some in the palette. So I'm going to just touch up like on his bow, real light, some areas. This is it's like an aluminum type metal, I guess, but I don't want it too shiny. Just put some small highlights on it. Just in the middle part where where his hand is. Probably throw some wash on that too, just to dull it down. I like to use liberal amounts of wash to cover up any imperfections. That's the way to do it. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is on the MP5, I'm going to just kind of touch the tops of certain areas on the weapon where it would probably pick up light, maybe. So I'm definitely going to wash that again, so, but that'll just give it a little bit of gleam, maybe a dot on here to show some reflection, and that's that. Alright, so next we're going to do some black. Alright, so some more of the Abaddon black. And this should be good. We just need to do that strap on his back, if you remember from before. Alright, so this is going to be an interesting hold. So, got this strap on his back. Just going to hit the top of it. Get it black. Alright, so I got some black on his jacket, but I'll just use another brush to kind of get it off. As long as you get it while it's wet, you can get rid of it. Awkward position. Okay. Just trying to get rid of some of my smudges. Alright, so there's the black strap. This is going to the weapon. He's going over his back, up to the front, so I'll repaint the front strap black again so it pops out a little bit more. Alright. That's good. Now he's got some straps on his boots I want to hit. So on the side, he's got these two straps. I just want to throw some black paint on them. Nothing fancy. He's got some laces. Just tap it a few times, get those up there. Just bring out the illusion of laces. And we're gonna probably, yeah, we're gonna do some buckles on there, so we'll probably put a little bit of bronze or something to make that pop out. Touch up my gun a little bit, try to thin up some of these highlights so they're not too obnoxious. And I think that's that. Alright, so that's it for the black. And I think next what I want to do is put a real light coat of this Kislev flesh on his head. Just because I washed it, but I want to make sure his highlights. So I'm going to water this down pretty good. And what I want to do is real lightly go over like the back of his head. I've got somewhere the wash kind of pooled back here. I just throw some of that on there. Not too thick. And then on the top, because he's got a bald head, so he's got some sunshine coming off it. A little bit to the forehead, tip of the nose. Maybe where some of the light picks up on his eye. Or not his eye, his ear. Earlobe. There. Cheek. Other cheek. Okay. Bring it down. Alright. Right there in his cheek. So, let that dry a bit. Try to even it out. Alright. See how it looks when it's dry. I may have to darken it with a little more wash, of course, but we'll pop back when it's dry. Alright, so I think we're back to wash. Last wash. I want to go with the Null oil again. And I'm going to just hit all the black and basically really dark parts that I want to blend up. So we'll definitely hit his bow again. We'll hit his quiver one more time, just to kind of blend that bit in. Gonna hit his weapons, both of them. Definitely hit the machine gun again, submachine gun, if you will. Throw a little on the beard, just for the hell of it. And let's do boots, I think. Why not? I want this boots nice and dark, grimy. Alright, so that's all that. I'm not going to do his jacket again. I don't like how his jacket looks right now, to be honest. Alright, yeah, I like that. That looks good. Alright, so we'll leave those. Just trying to think of what else we can do here. Now, I can do his head. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to break out the Agrax Earthshade again. This is another brown wash. This one's good for some skin tones, but what I really want to do is hit these pouches that I had done recently, so I'm going to wash them, especially this one here, because that one was real bright before, but it's going to give it a nice kind of dirty, leathery kind of look, which is what we're going for here. Try not to get any on his pants, because brown and blue jeans don't really look too good together. Maybe a little sloppy with this, no biggie. Alright, so that's good. I might put a little on the face here, just to kind of blend in what I had done before. Get some shadow in the eyes and the ears. Go real light with it, just to, because his head looks awfully bright. So, but I think this should finish off his head. Definitely don't want it to pool, so what I'll do is I'll just keep drying the brush and just sopping up any spots that I don't want to be dark, especially back here in the mold crease. But I think that's good. Yeah, so that brought the tone down a bit. So, alright, I think we're getting there. Let's let that dry. Okay, now we're moving on to the part that I dread the most, and that is the eyes. So I'm going to take some white and I'm going to basically just try to draw some pupils on him without ruining the rest of his face. So I have a very, very fine brush now, and I recommend the same if you're going to do this. I mean, if you don't necessarily want to do eyes, I don't think you have to, but they do make a difference, I'm not going to lie, which is why I'm putting myself through this torture now. So you want some paint, not too much, but not too little, because you've got to be able to get in there and have the paint stick. There. There's one. And this isn't even the hard part. It's going to get far worse when I got to do the pupils. So, alright, so this is where you really need a steady hand. Use your other hand to balance, kind of a push-pull thing. Get in the eye socket and draw that eye. Now if you make the eye a little bit bigger than you want, that's fine. You can always take the edges out with some of the face color, but I think we've got, there's poor lighting here, but hopefully I can zoom in on it so you can see where we are with the eyes here. So hopefully you can see how it looks with eyes. So it's pretty big difference. Alright, so I'm going to let that dry, and then we will work on the pupils. Okay, now for the worst part of the whole mini is painting these pupils. So, going back to my Abaddon Black. I like to keep it a little thick because you really are just doing a dab. Literally a dab. And this dries very quickly because you've got such a fine point. So this has to be perfect. Alright, I think we're good. So what I've got, give them a little bit more on this side. Alright, not bad. I could live with that. I'm just gonna probably soften them up a little bit. And what I mean by that is I'm going to sort of outline his eyes with more flesh tone, because what that'll do is kind of shape them a little bit better. Alright, let's see. Alright, now I just need a very little bit here, because I don't want it to stand out. I'm just going to draw a line basically right under his eye or over his eye, depending if I think it's too high or too low on that side. You just shape the pupil. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. It really comes down to how you feel about the way the eye came out. And I'm okay with them, I think. I just don't want these big, like, Muppet eyes. Like teddy bear eyes, you know? So I think now you could even go with, you know, eyebrows, whatever. But in this case, he doesn't really have any eyebrows. At least not in this picture on the card. Yeah, he doesn't really have eyebrows, so he's kind of just bald except for the beard. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little detail on the head here. I'm going to take this, got some Cadian flesh tone. It's just a little bit darker flesh tone, and what I'm going to do is I'm just pulling a little bit off. I'm not going to need to mix a whole bowl of it, but what I'm going to do is he's got this band-aid on his forehead. It's kind of like just a protrusion, so I'm going to paint that so it stands out. There you go. Alright, so there he is. Now I think I have a few more things I gotta do. I think the next one is going to be, and this is just again more detailing. So I'm taking what I have, Runefang steel. This is like a metallic base paint, so this is real shiny metal. And what I'm going to use this on, or he's got buckles on his boots. Again, I'm just going to take it right out of the pot with my real fine detail brush. So I'm not going to use a lot, just enough to. You don't really need to water this stuff down because it's kind of weird. Got a weird consistency to it. So I'm gonna do, he's got like these buckles on his boots. So I'm just gonna dab a little metal on those just so they sort of pop. So that's good. There's a little metal ball at the end of this, like weird killing device that he's got. Looks like he took off a car. I'm just going to put some metal on this tip because it looks like this tip is the only really like shiny metal piece on this contraption. He's got a buckle on his pouch here. He's got any more metal on this guy? Yeah, he's got earrings, that's right. So let's look at these earrings, see if I can draw them. These are kind of weird, but there you go. He's got one in each ear, like a pirate. There you go, buddy. Now you look tough. I think these little metal things, I'll just give them a little gleam. Maybe a little shim on the bow, because this is kind of, I think this is metal. And we'll make it shine through a little bit. Where the highlights would be. Get like metallic, because I think it is metallic, to be honest. Those little bolts. I think that's it for the shiny metals. I mean, I could even go as far as say, oh well, maybe this little bolt on the sub is shiny, and maybe there's some wear up here on the barrel and here. Wherever I had those highlights, I can go metallic on them from some wear and tear. But whatever. You know, you can do whatever you want. Now, there's one big part here that actually I forgot all about that I think will kind of really make this look cool. Is he's got this whole zipper going down each side of his jacket. So I definitely want to metal that piece up. But I don't want to screw it up. So I need to be very, very careful about this part. That's good. Now I'm definitely gonna put some black wash on those zippers because I don't want them too shiny. But he's coming along. We're almost there. Let me get another close-up for her. I'm not sure how he is with the lighting, but he's starting to come along. Alright, we're almost there. A couple more details, and I think we'll be finished. So let me let him dry a bit. Alright, we're coming down to the last few steps. So what we need to do now, and this is going to be somewhat challenging, is paint his fingers. If you remember, I blended them. I just painted them the same color as the gloves at the time. So now I've got to bring him out. Now he's wearing like half leather gloves. Like the rest of his outfit shows he's bad A biker dude. And he is ready. So we have to get his fingers painted. So this is going to be delicate. Let's see. Just bringing out some more of that Kislev flesh paint, and I'm going to go over his fingers now. So it's just a matter of, I think the hardest part here is distinguishing where his fingers start and where the gloves start. I think we're good. So we will let that dry, and then we'll wash it. And I think the only other thing we need to do is the feathers on the arrows. So that, we have a few options. Now, it looks like they're green and yellow. So I've got wog flesh and real yellow. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint the whole top of the feathers green, and then I'll highlight it with some yellow. And this is a real small section. So what I'm going to do is just go straight from the pot on this one too. I like to do that. It just makes it easier for me. Because there's not a lot of paint I need. So let's just go and paint the feathers, just the tops of the arrowheads, where the arrows coming out of his quiver. Paint them green. No biggie. Try not to hit the back of his head or anywhere else I've painted already. Just give myself more work. Alright. Okay, so we've got green arrowhead, green feathers. Green arrow feathers. Good enough. Let that dry. It should dry fairly quickly. Alright, so I'm going to just take some of this yellow I brought out now, and I'm just going to kind of dab every other feather. At least a section of every other feather. So it kind of blends a little bit here and there. Nothing too much. There. So we've got some yellow, some green. And that's that. So I think I'm just going to put some wash on his hands, let that dry, and then I'll bring it back for a final look. All right, I think that's it. I'm all finished. So this is Travis, and he is painted as best I could get to his profile card. So actually, we'll put that up back here so you can see. He let me back that out a little bit so you can see. Like I said, I try to get the minis as close to the color scheme of the actual player card as I can, but you know, within reason, I think. So, well, I hope you enjoyed, and you know, maybe learned something, maybe not. But I think I'm pretty happy with how he came out, and that's really just a down and dirty, simple way to paint a miniature, and just, you know, tabletop quality, I guess. You know, that's, for me, this is good enough to play with. So I think what I'll do, like, just to give you an idea, like the base, the bottom of the base is red, so he's obviously the right character, just like Maddie's yellow. But I'll either paint the whole base red to easily identify him, or what I'll do is I'll paint the top of the base black as it is, just clean it up, and then around the edge of the base I'll put a red line. You know, just paint the outer edge red so I can see that. So that's probably what I'll go with. But I think he's all done. And what I also have to do, once I paint the base, I'm going to put a clear, flat coat of sealer. And that really just to protect the paint. You know, so that when you play it doesn't get all chipped or worn. It just helps it out. So, well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I plan to do at least a few more characters. Hopefully I can do another, I'll do another taping. Depends on how many views I get. If I get a good amount of views on this one, I'll do another painting session with maybe Maddie, who is this character here. Or if somebody prefers somebody different from this, you know, if you put in the comments you want to see somebody else from this set, from the Rue Morgue set, more than happy to do it. Because I'm going to paint it anyway, before I do my playthrough. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.